Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cooking with Sway. Today I am going to be making a ghetto pasta carbonara and shrimp. Well, why do I call it a ghetto pasta carbonara? Well, pasta carbonara is really simple. It's basically just pasta, and what you do is that you cook the guanciale, which is the pig cheek, to render the fat. After you render the fat, you add your pasta. In a separate bowl, you scramble some eggs and add some pecorino cheese, and you just mix it together, like scramble it together. You use some of the pasta water to temper the egg and cheese mixture, so that way it doesn't scramble while cooking with the pasta and the grease from the guanciale, and you know, it just creates a sauce. So this dish is pretty much inspired by the pasta carbonara, and what makes it ghetto is that for many people who grew up poor and in the ghetto, we don't always follow the exact recipe. Sometimes we might replace one thing with another, add a couple extra things just to fill us up, because when you're poor, you use everything you can to create a flavorful dish that will fill you up. So let's get started. So since I don't have the pig cheek, the guanciale, I'm using bacon. You can use a cheap bacon that you find anywhere. And I chopped it up into bite-sized pieces, and now I put it in my wok. You could use a skillet, a frying pan, that's fine. I just like using my wok. The next thing I'm doing, I'm just stirring it up. See, you want to render the fat. You want to render the bacon down all the way to its grease and fat. And it's very important because that's how you're going to cook the rest of the dish when, you're adding the pasta and everything else to this dish. So this is where I add my ghetto additions, which is garlic, onion, and some mushrooms. I added my mushrooms, I'm adding my onions and garlic into the pan, the wok, and I'm just gonna stir it just till the onions get a little translucent. You still want a little bite, a kick to it. So the next thing I did is I used 2 eggs. So I opened the eggs, I cracked them open, and I began to scramble them. You want to scramble your eggs really, really well. You want to really incorporate it, make sure it's a smooth yellow color, no clearness in it. And since I didn't have pecorino, I used Parmesan cheese. And I want to add a ton of Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add more later. But you also want to, season it with a little bit of black pepper. And then you mix it well. You got to really mix it. See, I'm doing this one-handed while holding the camera. So it was rough doing it. Now, since this is a ghetto version, I'm using the top ramen noodles. I just basically took the seasoning packet and put it in the fridge. But, you heat it up. You heat up the noodles the way you would, according to the package. And as you can see, the noodles are heated up. And I'm using some of the pasta water, adding it alongside with the onions and the bacon and all that. And the reason why is because when you incorporate the egg, cheese, pepper mixture, it's going to help to create a creamy sauce. So that's what I'm doing right now, just adding the water. Now I'm going to use some of that same pasta water, and I'm just going to put it in the egg mixture. You want to temper the egg. You want to temper the egg mixture with the cheese. You want to make it like creamy. Again, this will prevent the egg from scrambling and getting these little pieces of scrambled eggs. So you want to do it little bit by little bit. You want to add little by little because you don't want to scramble the eggs while you're trying to temper it. I would also suggest that you let the water cool down a bit, so that way it doesn't pre-scramble any of the eggs. As you can see, it's just starting to get creamy right there. So next, I'm just bringing the pasta over to the wok. I'm just dropping it on there. At this point, you can start mixing it. You know, you can start mixing it, but you know, I'm one-handed, so I couldn't really grasp it. As you can see, my microphone cord is in front, which is why I'm doing a voiceover, just little mess ups. But you see the pasta's in there. You can start just mixing it right now to kind of incorporate everything. Now I added the egg mixture with the pepper and the cheese. And when you do this, you do this on low. You want to do this on low and just slowly incorporate everything. As you can see, I'm just incorporating as much as I could. You know, you want to just have the fat and from the bacon and the eggs, just everything marry just together, and you just mix it all together. You know, you want to mix it fast on a low heat. You know, as you can see, there's still some cheese that wasn't incorporated, but that's fine. You know, this is like a ghetto version. If I really wanted to do the proper version, I would take take my time with it. But you know, once you're done, you'll see that there's like no lumps, no nothing. It's all smooth and creamy. So at this point, I'm gonna be preparing the shrimp. All I did is after I peeled and deveined it, I used a jerk seasoning. I left it in the fridge. Now I'm just gonna put it in my flour mixture, and the flour mixture is just flour, salt, finely ground pepper, coarsely ground pepper, white pepper, marjoram, thyme. You could add a little ginger if you wanted to. I added onion powder, garlic powder. You know, you just mix your own way. You know, so I'm just right here. I'm just adding the shrimp. Now, normally I would, you know, use an egg wash or something so that way they can pick up the flour better. But because of the way shrimp is, sometimes, you know, it sweats as you're seasoning it. So I just put it directly into my Tupperware filled with the flour mixture, and I just shake it just to dredge. I just shake it to dredge. So once they're dredged, I just put them in a bowl, let it sit for a little bit so that way the flour can really stick to the shrimp. And as you can see, I'm just adding it to a hot pan, right? You know, you want the oil to be hot. And at this point, I was like, screw it, I'm gonna just pour them all in instead of one by one. And what you want to do is you want to fry the shrimp until it is a beautiful golden brown. So after it is a beautiful golden brown, I'm just gonna add it to the plate, and I'm gonna create a sauce made with honey, the hot Chinese style mustard paste, paprika, and a little bit of mayonnaise. And that's just for dipping. That's just the dipping sauce, and pretty much you're just done. And that, my friends, is my Ghetto pasta carbonara with shrimp and a dipping sauce. All you need is a nice ice cold drink, whatever it may be. And I hope you enjoyed this video.